Hello everyone. Today I'm coming here with breaking news. You can see at the back there I have the video I'm going to play from the President Donald J. Trump, and this is the breaking news about the stimulus check. Everybody has been waiting for news about the stimulus check, and the people have been asking me, why can't you go ahead and explaining more about the stimulus check? I haven't done the second stimulus check video because I knew there are so many things. It will take longer time to come up to hear what I'm going to play today so that you can be able to understand. We all know about the first stimulus check, and we are talking about the second stimulus check. So for those who don't understand, I'm not going to go into detail about what the entire package entails, but I'm talking about specifically about the check, the money which goes direct to the taxpayers. There are so many questions about it. Might be some different from the first one. We all know that the first this first package, which was in March, was 2.2 trillion, and out of that, it had 1,200 per individual to be given as a stimulus check. And if you have dependents like your children, each child was supposed to get 500. So that was the first stimulus check. But then they are going to talk about the second stimulus. And today I'm going to breaking news now. It is confirmed that a stimulus check is there. Not only it is there, it is bigger than what has been presented into the Senate. Welcome everyone. This is Ernest Boniface Makulilo EBM, and I want to make sure that you understand what does that mean to taxpayers, how much money you can expect to get, and when are you going to expect. And most importantly, I'm going to explain why now it is confirmed and why you need obviously to invest wise or use wise the money you're going to expect, because this is the last stimulus check you will ever receive during this pandemic. So without further ado, let's get into the details of the stimulus check, which is a groundbreaking. I know there are some more people have been making these videos. They are looking about the economic number. They are looking about so many things. My background is political science. So yes, there are few things about economy, but because of political science major, I'm going to break down to you what does that mean while we are going into also, like, in addition to the normal economy, but politics, how the politics play for both the Democrat and both Republican when they are preparing for the general election, which is coming up this November. So the first stimulus or the first stimulus package was called CARES Act, 2.2 trillion. There are so many phases inside it. So when we are talking about the second stimulus, you'll be here about phase 4. There are phases, but in the end, for someone like a normal person like me, what I'm going to care much is not about the phase 1. The money went to health care, or it went to make sure that we have testing. Phase 2 was this one. Then phase 3. Then we go to the actual money. So I'm not going to those details because I know you are here to find out, as a taxpayer, as a person in America, am I going to get the money? And if yes, when? How much should I expect? That's what I care. I don't. Yes, obviously I have to know, like, how many is going to this kind of business and everything. So let me start by why the president has come forward officially. This was not just a random interview. It was an official interview with the Fox Business about the stimulus. So it was not just like a random interview. There are couple weeks, like a week ago, he was having the random interview. Someone asked, he answered, yes, we are going to talk about stimulus check, but it didn't go more into detail about that kind of the question because it was not really official. So this package, the second stimulus check, is within what we call the HEROES Act. It has already gone through Democratic Party. They're the one who designed it through the House, and it was voted in the House. and it went into Senate. So it is in the hands of Senate. And if in case you don't know, in the House of Representatives, majority are Democrats, and in the Senate, majority are Republican. So for that case, once you go to the Senate, it is the hands of Republican. So the bill which was passed was over 1,800 pages. It was a huge bill with a 3.3 trillion, the package. But when Donald Trump was asked about the second stimulus, he said the second stimulus check, the check part, yes, there will be all other things. The check may be larger than the previous amount. What is the previous amount? As I just mentioned, is if you are married, I'm talking like majority of you watching my videos are people like my income or lower income, just middle. We're not talking people who are getting like 90,000, 100,000, but majority of people are getting less than 80,000, less than that. So for that case, if you are single, if you are married, you must have more the income like 150,000, whatever, which majority of people don't have that one. Like I'm talking like you watching my videos here. So for that case, you get 1,200, your husband gets that one, and each child, there was no maximum number of children you have, but each qualifying child or dependent was getting 500. But there are some other exceptions they're going to put there. So this interview was happened on July 2nd. That's the interview happened. Why the interview happened on July 2nd? Number one, they had to wait for the job Department of Labor to release the job statistics, because that is one of the things why it hasn't been passed since beginning of June, when the House of Representatives passed the bill, take it to the Senate. It hasn't passed in the Senate. Why? Because there are certain things they differ, there are certain things they agree. But no matter what, the one thing they wanted to make sure that is going to happen is the job Department of Labor to release the statistics, like how many we have unemployment, but what is the progress about the employment, the jobs currently coming out from everybody. And yeah, so that was the big one, because from day one, the Senate majority leader Mitch McConnell, when he was asked, will say no one is against that this one, but it will go to be able to take time. We are not going to inject more money right now until we see how the previous package 2.2 trillion has done to the economy. So this is the second part which you have to know. That's why they had to wait until this July to have this interview, because the interview is going to show how much money which have been injected has been done. So number one, you have to know by June 13th, the unemployment rate, the number of unemployment people who were receiving unemployment benefits, the number was 31 million point 5. That is a very huge number. And 1 week before that, June 13th, it was 30 million point 6. So just like within 1 week, more people unemployed, the number goes up. But there was so much money has been injected into economy through the CARES Act, the stimulus package which was passed in March. So how it started working, number one, the number of employment by which was released in July, in this July 2nd, was 4.8 million jobs have been created, or people have got the job. So that has reduced the number of the percentage of unemployment rate which you had, which was 13, now it is 11. So with that, that's why the president, and you will see Republican who now they're in the edge of making the deal, because they are the one in the majority in the Senate, they can come forward and say what they can be the future of the stimulus. So that's why they were waiting for this. And this video is not about Republican, it's not about Democrats. I don't care which particular party. I'm just here as analyst, and independent to make sure that what does that mean. So for that case, if we have finished that one, let's go to the 2.2 trillion. I've said that number one reason why it took longer to come to this one, they were waiting. They were buying time to wait for this particular part. While Democrats wanted this to go ahead right away, Republicans said no. We cannot go ahead. We have to make analysis to see how 2.2 trillion has done to the economy. That was number one. So they were waiting for this report. Number two, there are things they have to agree, which they will take a bigger, longer discussion in the 3-point-something trillion into the new stimulus package, which is in the Senate. So in this one, which now they are talking about, number one to consider is about the amount. In the previous check we received, as I said, it was 1,200 for single. I mean, you are independent alone. If you are married, it is 2,000. Well, it will be 2,400 times 2, and each child was 500. Into the new one, it is 1,200 for anyone. So if you are married, your spouse, each child will be 1,200. Different from the previous one. I'm talking the check which we are going to receive. Different from the previous one. Previous one was maximum was 500 per child. This one is 1,200 per child. But on the second, this one we are talking now, it has a limitation. How many children you can be able to claim? Maximum is 3. So let me give you an example how that one works. I'm using calculator here. I know it's simple math, but let's go and not do a mess up. So if you have 3 children, in the previous one, I have 3 children. So in the previous stimulus, what happened? I got 1,200 for 2 people, like for me and my wife. So that was 2,400. That was the amount. Then I have 3 children, so each one got 500. So you plus 1,500. So that is the amount someone with 3 children got on the previous one. But there was no limitation of number of children. So if you had 10 kids, the number of money is going up. But on this one, there will be a limitation of number of children. So the limitation will be 3 children. So, but each child will get, as adult, will get 1,200. So that means 1,200 times the 3 children, the same amount. So just for the children, the previous one, I got 1,500. This time I get this one for children alone, plus for adult, for me and my wife. So I'm going to get this one. So 6,000 versus 3,900. So you see the big difference what they're going to put that way. So that one is the biggest, the number one thing. But the second thing, why again they had to wait for everything, and why now with these agents now after July to go for the second stimulus. For those who do not know, number one, everything was expected to start coming back in July and going, especially September. These 2 months are very important. Why? In July is because the unemployment benefits, the bonus from the federal government of 600 maximum is going to end of July. For those who do not know, who are not in unemployment, basically the state, each state gives a certain number of amount for unemployment benefits. It depends on how much you worked, how tax taken, whatever. But usually each state gives average 2,000, 2,500 per month. So maybe 300, 400, 500, 600 per week. It depends. But in average, most of the states, they give 1,500, 2,500, most of the states. That is an employment benefit, is given by the state, unemployment benefits. But in addition to that, when the first stimulus package went on, one of the way, because people lost their jobs, So they say federal government added 600 per week per each person, which means if you get 600 per week, that means you are getting 2,400. So you are getting this one just from the federal government. Plus, let's say you are in the state, you are getting 2,000 per month. So you get 2,000 more. Someone was getting this amount. Some people get up to 5,000. So this one, sorry, it went dark a little bit. So this one caused a little bit of a problem. But this unemployment from the federal is going to end this June. So the bigger discussion is Democrats and Republican, both they talk about unemployment, federal unemployment benefit. This bonus is ending in July. Democrats want from August it to be extended until January in the HEROES Act. This one we are talking about. That's number one. Republican, they say let's wait for the job. Number one, this is the job statistics. But number two, they say no, the unemployment benefit is going to be being a hinder for people to go back to work. Why? Because why should I go to find a job while by sitting at home I get more money or the same exact amount of money which I'll get if I go to work? Even myself, what is the incentive for me to go back to work? There is no incentive. So that is the reason why it has been a very big discussion on that. While Democrats say 600 has to continue until January, so we have seen now in Senate there are so many discussion about should we go back, should we end this completely, or should we find a way about reducing amount. There is that one discussion, but other people they say instead of in order to encourage people to go to work, let's reduce the amount. There is a bill in Senate, like instead of giving 600 for someone, let's give 400 each week for someone going back to work. So we encourage people to go back to work and you get bonus. So because we are talking about people to go back to work, so these are the discussion which why they're taking longer. What takes longer, apart from other parts of the bill about the check, the money goes direct to the people, is about the how much should be go is it to individuals, the family, and everyone. But also there is the unemployment from the federal. So if 31.5 million people are receiving unemployment benefits, how many people would be like to go back to work not to get that money? Basically, that is a challenge. So they are finding different ways on how to do that. We have seen another bill. People are proposing, people even who are going to school back just to get certain education, they have to be given, they will be given 4,000 just like a bonus. So there are so many things. So in a very nutshell, both Republicans and Democrats agree on the following things. Both they agree on the stimulus check to go to the families. The point which they differ is when it should be released. Should it go ahead right away, or should we wait for this one, which now is out? And the amount, obviously. And should it be repetitive or just one time more? Then there is unemployment benefits. And then there are some of the issues which they have complicated. In the bill, there is the money. Also, people who are supposed to benefit are unemployed, undocumented immigrants. Republicans say, no, this is for all taxpayers. It's not about illegal immigrants. But as long as someone worked, someone has social security, someone worked, has the tax number, and filed for the tax, the person will get the money. That's why even in the first stimulus, we saw international students get the money, even if they're not citizen or green card holders. So the same way to this one, they say, no, any person who paid the tax will get the money, but we're not going to deal with undocumented immigrants. So that is one of the discussion, which taking longer time. So let me now go to play on these kind of things which now confirm what does that mean. So after the report came out, so before I continue, let me increase the volume. Maybe it will be a little bit higher, and let's play this one. Okay, so I'll be stopping in a few seconds and then describe what does that mean for people to make sure that they understand. So this is the official interview about stimulus talk, face mask, Russian bounties, whatever with folks. But I'm playing just the stimulus discussion, which will be like 2 minutes, but I'm going to break down. Number one is...
Mr. President, thank you for talking to Fox Business. We appreciate it. A lot to get to. Let me start with phase 4 and what might potentially come later this.
Phase 4, we are talking, phase 4 is the actual check. So I want to make sure that when we are talking about the exactly money, the check comes to people. That is the phase 4. So don't get confused.
This month, another round of direct payments for individuals. Do you support that at this time?
I do.
Before the president said, I do. The question is, another round of stimulus check, the money comes like the 1,200. Do you support at this time? What does that mean? Very simple. When Democrats passed the stimulus bill, whatever the package, went to Senate, all Republicans have never come forward to say, public, I'm supporting 100% this one. They say, oh, let's wait for the economy, let's wait for the labor, let's wait forever. That's why the question is, do you support the second round at this time? Right now, do you support it? Right now, after the Department of Labor releasing everything. So let me go a little bit back.
Individuals. Do you support that at this time?
I do. I support it, but it has to be done properly, and I support actually larger numbers than the Democrats, but it's got...
Listen very careful. I'm going to play back. I do support the second round of stimulus check to go to the families. And in addition to support, these are my two things. Number one, it has to be done properly. By done properly, they'll be talking about the number, how much is going to be done, when, all those kind of things. And yeah, so what is going to delay currently is not just the stimulus check. There are other things within that package, because the entire stimulus money goes to the family is less than 1 trillion, but the bill is 3 point whatever something trillion. What are other things they are going to be in that way that they are going to do? And he's saying, I'm supporting this one as long as it's going to be done smoothly, properly, but also the amount Democrats have suggested is 1,200. But for me, I want the check to be larger than that amount, and that's what we are going to do. And as the Republican, as the party, or as the administration with the Senate, the leaders with that one, they have started talking this one to make sure that they're going to do that. So let's play.
Payments for individuals. Do you support that at this time?
I do. I support it, but it has to be done properly, and I support actually larger numbers than the Democrats, but it's got to be done properly. We had something where it gave you a disincentive to work last time.
You see, that's the point. The previous check gave this people were not motivated to go back to work. So that is talking not the paycheck of 1,200, is talking about the unemployment benefit of 600. That one, why should I go to work if the federal government gives me 2,400 and my state gives me maybe 2,000 or 2,500? So I can make 5,000 just by staying at home. So people are not going back to work. So that's the biggest part of why they have to find a way of doing this way. So one of the ways they are going to do will be either to increase the amount. They say maybe 2,000. And then we are not going to give this 600 for people to go to work. I mean, to stay for unemployment, but we'll give maybe 600 for 2 months if you go back to work. So the government will release the amount. So let's find out.
The Democrats, but it's got to be done properly. We had something where it gave you a disincentive to work last time. And it was still money going to people and helping people, so I was all for that. But we want to create a very great incentive to work. So we're working on that, and I'm sure we'll all come together.
We want to create a great incentive for people to go back to work. That is the key. The previous one at that time was correct. But if you extend until January, according to the president and even most analysts, even myself, I will not go back to work. If I was making 2,500 or 3,000 per month by going to work at my warehouse, for instance, and today I'm sitting at home, as long as I prove I'm applying for jobs, I get almost 5,000. Why should I go back to work? And even if I go back to work and I make the same amount I was getting 4,000, and now I'm making 4,000, why should I go to work 40 hours per week? I mean, 40 hours per week. In the end, to be able to make the money which I'm making by staying at home with my family. So we needed to create a great incentive. That's why there are other bills or other smaller bills. People are finding different ways on how to encourage people to go back to work.
The direct payments larger or the uninsurance benefits
I want
larger?
the money getting to people to be larger so that
You see, clarification more. The clarification. This I say. This is one of the first interview which was specifically for stimulus, and is asking the question is: do you want the unemployment to be larger, or the actual check to go to be larger? Remember, there is the issue of incentive people to go back to work. According to the president, is I want the actual check to go to the people, everybody. By everybody who is taxpayer, whether you are a citizen, you are not a citizen, you are green card, you are not, to get the larger check. So that means they are going to propose more than 1,200. My guess will be at least 1,500 or 2,000, because this will be the last check to be given to people. And then they are going to reduce, obviously, the unemployment benefit, federal unemployment. So the amount you could go as the federal unemployment is 600 per week. It will come, some of that to come to direct check to the people, and some of that they can be using as incentive. If you go back to work, we are going to give this amount for this amount of month. So that is something they're going to talk about. So let me.
and I'm sure we'll all come together.
You want the direct payments larger or the uninsurance benefits
I want
larger?
the money getting to people to be larger so they can spend it. I want the money to get there quickly and in a non-complicated fashion. And they wanted to make it too complicated. Also, it was an incentive not to go to work. You'd make more money if you don't go to work. That's not what the country's all about. And people didn't want that. They wanted to go to work, but it didn't make sense because they make more money if they didn't. And we had some of that, and so we don't want to have that. We want to have people get out, and we want to create a tremendous incentive for people to want to go back to work.
On that and the uninsurance benefits, Mitch McConnell yesterday signaled his support for an extension, the $600 figure. Do you agree with that number? Do you think it should be less?
We're getting together. We're going to meet tonight, and we're going to make a determination, but it's going to be a good number, a substantial number. People are going to be very happy. One thing that's happened.
Let me pause there. What does that mean? Mitch McConnell is the majority Senate leader who is Republican. He also he's supporting the extension now, because he didn't want to talk about that. Mitch McConnell was the first one from day one to say, no, we have to wait. This is not going to do. Why should, is the one who gave all the numbers why people is going to not give the incentive for people to back to work. But now Mitch McConnell is supporting extension, but they don't support exactly 600 extension. They support extension until obviously January, but the amount they are going to discuss tonight, which they discussed. So this on July 3rd, that's why it is. This is, remember, all these things come to July 4th. Why? Is because we have to put good news for Americans. So that's the reason. Why did they wait until July?
And you see it with the numbers, and we have big numbers coming out. Hopefully they're going to be good. They're very important. But when you see what's happening with jobs, when you see that we're doing record numbers of jobs in the history of our country, we've never created more jobs than what we did last month. That last month number, retail.
Yeah, so let me end up there. So those are the few things I want to make sure that we understand about unemployment and the benefits and the actual check. But the other question is, when do we need to expect this check? That is another question, which is a very important question, because they are talking this one. This is going to be very soon, because we are going to receive this money it has to be passed by mid of July. Like within the next 2 weeks, they have to pass it. Why? Because unemployment benefit is going to end by July. End of July, July 30th, that is the end. You have to determine what is going to happen from August 1st. So you have to make that decision very soon. So you are running with time. That's number one. Secondly, in September is the end of, on the first phase of the package, some of the money went to the airline, to the restaurants, to everywhere. That ended by when? It's supposed to end in September. People, some of the airline companies, for instance, they were given the money so that they cannot fire people. They keep their employees into the payroll until September. September is coming up, and they are these airlines, they are not traveling now. Most of them, they don't still travel, especially international, and even domestic. They have reduced the bigger number. Obviously, they say they are going to fire people, lay off people. So the government has to do this very soon, so that people can have the confidence. Like September, I can continue with getting paid, even if I'm not working full-time hours from the airline industry. Otherwise, everything's going down. And the third part, why this one is coming to be very critical now, is the issue about the pandemic. The rates of disease was going down, and then we are starting seeing back is going up. Why? Two factors. I don't want to be too political, but two factors. Number one, we saw the demonstrations. People they were inside, but from that moment, everyone was outside. Thousand of people in one location. So that was one of the reasons why this one came back, bigger number. But on the second part is when we were doing they started to open in, some people they started going to the bar, drinking, whatever. So you get to lose yourself. When you are drunk, you cannot go and follow the proper health care procedures. So those are some of the things. And we have seen now the numbers going up. We have seen in Texas, we have seen in Florida, and other places where now there are so many new restrictions, and some of the restaurants are starting closing again. Some of the bars, they are closing again. We'll see a lot of restrictions going back. Now there are so many states, they are going to be national, states-wise, even here in Missouri, Kansas, they are mandatory to wear masks, which was not there. They want to do federal regulations. So there are so many things going on. That's why with this unemployment, so we might be shaken. But also with the pandemic coming back, obviously this one has to be passed very, very soon to hit that one. And the last reason why this one has to be done faster is because election is coming up in November. So the debates we are going to start in, I don't know, August, whatever. So the debates will start very soon. This July, August, the campaign is starting, and it has to be tied by politics too. Both the Democrats, both Republican, they want the stimulus to go. Yes, for the economy, but as a politician, deep down you know this one is good for you if it passes for your constituents. So both Democrats, Republican, despite of economy and other things, they are politicians. This one is going to work for them. So they're going to agree to pass this one. So within 1 week, 2 weeks, we are going to see a new revised bill in the Senate, which will be passed back to the House, passed, and then to the president to be signed off. So when are we going to expect the paycheck, our check? By the week of August. That is the time we are going to expect our check. So that's what I want to share with you about the new second stimulus check. Is confirmed. We are going to get them. And when are we going to get them? We're going to get to the month of August. The amount will be higher. So will be at least, they might put 2,000 for adult, maybe 1,500 per child, or maybe they might reduce, they might remove the limitation of number of children, because they are going to reduce or end the modify the unemployment benefit discussion. So let me end up here. I'm sorry it is a longer video, but I had to make sure that this one is working for everybody. So thank you everyone. So in case you haven't subscribed, you have to do so. I cannot explain how much I get support from everyone. So thank you so much, and goodbye everyone. Remember to subscribe if today is your first time to watch these videos. because they are very, very good for you.